In space, nobody can hear you scream. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Rewind the Tape. I'm none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by my co-pilot Ben Rainer. How you doing?
Doing, doing well out and all that. God, I love the xenomorph. I love the xenomorph
Now,
so
before
much.
anyone gives me shit, I know this is the Xenomorph from Aliens, but I don't give a shit. Yeah,
Really?
so we are going to be talking about the 1979 seminal sci-fi classic Alien. Now, when it comes to the franchise, I'm more of an Aliens guy than Alien, but doesn't mean I don't appreciate and enjoy Alien.
I think it's like one A and one B kind of thing, right? I mean, they're both equally good. Kind of like Terminator.
Yeah, like
Uh,
somebody who introduced this to me, like he's if Alien's his favorite movie, but even he says like sometimes it can be Aliens he prefers over Alien.
It's funny because before I sat down and watched all these alien movies for the first time, I think it was last year,
Mhm.
I was pretty sure I was going to like aliens more because I'm not a big horror guy. But once I turned this on, I fell in love with this movie, and I think I love it more than the aliens
Oh, right on.
personally. I didn't love the claustrophobic one by one element.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that we see now, but it's stuff that we really haven't seen before this movie.
Well, that's the thing. Like this, that's why I said this movie is a seminal movie because a lot of the tropes we see now that originated in this movie, obviously, clearly, we didn't see them beforehand. And there was actually a number of years ago, it was around the time the Xbox One came out, they released a game called Alien Isolation, where pretty much
Okay.
in the game here, you're trying to go around a ship as sneakily and with the if you had the Kinect hooked up, if you in real life made any movement, it would alert the alien.
Have you tried the Connect? Does it really work?
I haven't used the Kinect in years. The only reason I used it was to turn on in my Xbox and off with my voice. That was it.
Okay.
And for this Alien game, because like I said, adding that element into it just heightens your experience level because now you have to be quiet and try not to alert the thing. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah,
Um, this movie did make me angry at Spaceballs for one particular reason.
right. Because you saw that in Spaceballs first.
I thought, right, and it kind of spoiled that scene for me, but
Me too. That's
still
why
an awesome scene. Still an awesome.
100%. And I'll give you a little bit of trivia when we get to it. But yeah, it's I'd probably say one of the top five iconic scenes in horror. Oh,
It, it's John Hood, is that
correct.
right?
Bingo. It is Sir John Hurt.
So John Hood and Ian.
Who reprised that role in Spaceballs. And when their chest burst out, says, "Oh, not again."
Yeah, hence why I got angry.
Mhm.
Not angry, but annoyed.
Yeah,
Like, God damn it. That looks is just that good.
it is.
He really goes the extra mile.
100%. Now, a little bit of facts about this because this is a movie I think we need to bring up a few things here. So, this movie came out in 1979. Hold on, scrolling all the way up to a budget of $11 million, made $184.7 million. And believe it or not, this was not critically liked when it debuted. It was a movie that had mixed reaction from people like Leonard Maltin.
Really? He didn't like this movie?
Yeah, it was either mixed. Maltin reassessed the film upon the release of the Rex cut. Yeah, he didn't like it when he first saw it.
Interesting.
Siskel gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Ebert called it one of the scariest old-fashioned space operas I can remember. Um, Siskel agreed that it was scary, but said it was basically a haunted house film set in a spaceship. It was not the greatest science fiction film ever made. And he's probably rolling over in his grave now when he sees where it is on most people's lists.
Well, okay. Would you call it more of a science fiction movie or more of a horror movie?
It's a science fiction horror. That's what it is. It's a movie that easily, distinctly belongs in both.
Okay, because I would say more of a horror movie than a science fiction movie. Because when I think of science fiction, I think of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's certainly one form of science fiction, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think maybe Star Trek. Not even the Star Wars. Star Wars is more fantasy.
It's more science fantasy.
Right. Right.
And yeah, over the years, of course, as we all know, a lot of people's critical view of this movie has changed. It has obviously received critical acclaim over the years. It's considered one of the best films of 1979. One of the most influential silent films of all time. Holds a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 126 reviews. It's in 2008, the American Film Institute ranked Alien as the 7th best film in the science fiction genre as part of the AFI's top 10. The ranks the same year, Empire magazine ranked it 33rd on its list of 500 greatest movies of all time. What else? In 2002, Alien was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant to be put into the National Film Preservation Board, and was inducted alongside All That Jazz, Apocalypse Now, The Black Stallion, and Manhattan. And this is a fun little trivia for you. In 2019, students at North Bergen High School in New Jersey adapted the film into a play. The production had no budget, with props and sets developed from recycled toys and other items. Social media recognition brought Scott's attention to the play. He wrote a letter of congratulations to the students. My hat comes off to all of you for your creativity, imagination, and determination, and recommended that they consider an adaptation of the film Gladiator for their next stage production. He donated to the school to put on an encore performance at which Weaver was in attendance. She got on stage before the performance to congratulate the cast and crew for their creativity and commitment. So that's how big of a legacy this movie has, that it got a high school to, with no money, build a stage production of Alien. And I've actually seen scenes from it. And
wow.
It's obviously not, Broadway material, but for what limited means these kids had, it was good.
Now, would you say this Ridley Scott's best movie?
Well, that's tough because you have Gladiator in there, right? And Blade Runner.
I like this more than Blade Runner, personally.
I like this more than Blade Runner, and I've only seen Gladiator all the way through once. Not for lack of trying, it's just because it's filmed dark, and the way my grandmother's TV was when I was a kid, it's the light, technical stuff. Yeah, I probably would go with the Alien. It's probably I would say the movie he's most recognized for, because people refer to it as Ridley Scott's Alien.
Right, I mean, looking something up really quick.
And of course, a few years later, it spawned a highly successful sequel that, like as Ben and I mentioned earlier, some people like myself do consider better than this one, which is not an easy statement to say. Aliens, directed by James Cameron, which took it out of the sci-fi horror and more of a sci-fi action film.
I will say that I'm glad I double checked. Alien is probably the best famous Ridley Scott movie, but my favorite is Nicolas Cage, Sam Rockwell movie, Magic Man.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, man, I knew it and I forgot it, but yeah.
Hashtag Schmodown.
What?
Is it hashtag Schmodown?
And you winner!
All right, so are you ready to dive into the storage bay of the Nostromo?
Let's go where nobody can hear us.
All right, so as well you know, I read this of IMDb, and this is a lengthy one, so Ben, feel free to interrupt me so I can get a glass of water. To get a drink. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna move this back over here. It's really weird.
What?
Oh, I want to see your reaction while I'm reading this, but I have the plot in front of me as well, so as I can't see you. But that's okay. All right, the opening credits appear in front of a large planet with rings. Out in the far reaches of space, deep space, the Nostromo, a commercial towing space vehicle carrying a refinery with 20 million tons of mineral oil, or is en route to Earth with a crew of 7. Inside, the ship appears eerily quiet, but suddenly the onboard computer is activated. Lights inside the ship are activated, and a room with 7 bio beds are illuminated. The canopy is open to awake the crew. Executive Officer Kane, played by John Hurt, is the first to awaken from hypersleep. They congregate in the mess hall where they cheerfully enjoy a meal. Chief Engineer Parker, played by Yaphet Kotto, who recently passed away last year, and engineering technician Brett, played by the great Harry Dean Stanton, take the opportunity to discover the bonus system, which they find unfair as they get paid less than the officers. Captain Dallas, played by the great Tom Skerritt, is called away by Mother, the ship's computer, before they can have a meaningful conversation. Dallas enters the Mother console room and tries to assess the situation as the rest of the crew gets in the cockpit of the ship to determine their location. They quickly deduce that they are nowhere near home yet. Navigator Lambert, played by Veronica Cartwright, finds out that they are at Zeta 2 Reticuli, an outlying system.
Oh, no, Veronica Cartwright. Isn't that one of the voices on The Simpsons? Or am I making that?
Cartwright. Veronica Cartwright is if I'm not mistaken, part of the big Cartwright family of acting.
Okay.
Here. But to my knowledge, there is no relation.
Okay. Sorry, my mistake.
I mean, it's easy to mistake. Oh no, okay. Her sister is acting. Sorry, she doesn't have any famous parents or anything who's an actor.
Okay.
But funny enough, she originally auditioned for Ripley.
Interesting.
Okay. When Parker and Brett return from their round of the lower deck, complaining that their colleagues' attitude in the bonus system, Dallas briefs the crew. The ship is not even halfway home and has altered its course because it has picked up an unknown signal, which repeats every 12 seconds. The crew has been awakened from hypersleep to investigate. Parker protests, arguing that they're not a rescue team and that they should be compensated for the extra work. But Science Officer Ash, played by the legendary Bilbo Baggins himself, Ian Holm.
So that's really cool that this movie has a hobbit and a wizard all in one movie.
Hobbit and a what, sorry? And a wizard. Yes. A hobbit, a wizard, a Time Lord, which two are the same person. Zool.
Yeah.
And Maverick's instructor at Top Gun. Because I can't remember his character's name in that movie.
The Top Gun guy?
Tom Skerritt. Yeah, it's a Top Gun guy. And of course, yeah, I know, it's pretty wild, eh? What do you think about it? All right. The crew has been awoken by Science Officer Ash stipulates that per company contract, the crew is obligated to investigate any signal from an intelligent source. Non-compliance will result in loss of pay, which quickly puts Parker in a more cooperative mood. The crew assembles in the cockpit to listen to the signal. It sounds very strange and unearthly, perhaps like a voice. Lambert hones in on it and finds that it comes from a planetoid 1,200 kilometers in diameter with a 2-hour rotation and some gravity. The Nostromo approaches the planet, which is close to one enormous ring planet and 2 smaller ones. The ships separate from the refinery and sets course to the planet's surface. It descends toward the planet, but the landing is rough, causing damage that will take some time for Parker and Brett to repair, although they allot themselves several more hours than their own estimate. The planet is windy and visibility is low. As the source of the signal is 2,000 meters away and the sun is coming up, Dallas and Kane decide to investigate on foot. A reluctant Lambert is ordered to join. Ash takes his place behind an outer window with a communication console as the team puts on their spacesuits and leaves the ship to investigate the signal on the planet's windy surface. In the meanwhile, Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver in arguably her most iconic role. I would say this is definitely bigger than Ghostbusters.
Is it true, 100%, but is it true that when they wrote the script, they put Ripley as Ripley because they didn't care if it was a man or female?
If I remember correctly, yes, Ripley was originally written to be a man. Yeah. God, they didn't. Wouldn't have been the same. Especially
no.
Because I don't know if it would have had the same impact if a male version of Ripley said, "Get your hands off her, you bitch."
No. Yeah. And think about this. If they never landed on the planet right now, there would be no franchise.
It's true. So, in other words, thank you, Mother.
Mother.
Mother. Because everything she does means the world to me. If you've seen Home Improvement, you get that. Okay. Parker and Brett ask if there will be a bonus for any discovery which is made on the surface. Ripley assures them that the law guarantees them a share before returning down upstairs as they keep teasing her. Outside, the team walks between the rocks, through the planetoid's inhabitable atmosphere. Inside the ship, Ash tells Ripley that Mother has not yet deciphered the signal. She volunteers to give it a try. Ripley accesses a console and starts working on the strange signal. Excuse me. Son of a bitch, you need Ash. Gotta love it when you're the wrong tube, don't you?
You okay, man?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just I need to learn how to breathe. Outside.
Always important.
Yeah. No kidding. Trust me, folks. This movie's not that emotional. Outside, the sun is up and the wind has died down. The team cheers the rock formation, or the team clears the rock formation. It makes a fascinating discovery. Near the horizon, they see a derelict spaceship of unknown origin. It is lying against the rocks, vaguely shaped like a horseshoe. Despite Lambert's hesitation, they approach it, losing contact with the Nostromo upon entering the massive ship through an opening at the side. Inside, they find hallways with walls textured with bones. At the end is an elevated platform. It carries the remains of an enormous alien creature in a large chair, now fossilized. Upon initial examination, there is evidence of some unknown trauma to its chest. Its ribs are bent outward as if it exploded from the inside. Lambert wants to leave, and Kane then draws the others' attention to a large hole in the floor. Meanwhile, analysis of the unidentified transmission suggests that it was not an SOS, but a warning. Ripley wants to go after the search party, but Ash talks her out of it, reasoning that by the time she gets there, the search team will probably know what the signal means. Kane is lowered into the hole by means of a winch. He finds an enormous tube-like chamber down below, divided into sections and basins. He nears one basin, discovering thousands of leathery objects that resemble large eggs. He also discovers a strange light and mist covering the eggs that reacts when broken. He trips and falls into a pit, but is uninjured and moves in to investigate further. Kane touches one of the eggs, which seems to give a shriek. He illuminates the egg from behind with a flashlight and discovers movement inside. He grabs a pistol. A strange spider-like organism is the resident. The egg has flaps on top, which open, revealing its insides. As Kane moves into it for a better look, the strange life form inside suddenly leaps out, attaching itself to Kane's helmet, melting his faceplate. It's basically like this. I have a cute little face hugger.
We are now introduced to the iconic face hugger.
Which, okay. So the guy who introduced me to this movie, one of my best friends, he has sleep apnea, which is where you have to wear that mask. And you guess what type of mask they have for sleep apnea. One designed like a face hugger.
I have one.
I'm trying to convince him to get it, but his wife's like, nope.
And then,
it's cool. It's pretty detailed. I've taken a look at it. It's pretty detailed. Yeah, you wouldn't catch me dead with one of those in my house. I'm just saying that right now. This is as close as it gets. Well, that and the little toy that came with this guy. It actually came with here. Actually, I'll show you. Just give me a second here.
Is that no hot toy? That's not a hot toy.
No, it's not a hot toy. It's just a collectible figure. I got it at Walmart.
Nice.
And whatever and then the little thing that slinks across the ground.
Nice.
The egg basin. Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
And now back to the plot. Ash is looking towards the planet's surface when he sees Dallas and Lambert carrying the unconscious Kane back to the Nostromo. They enter the airlock and ask Ripley to let them in, while Ash waits at the inner airlock door to open it. They inform Ripley that an organism has attached itself to Kane's face. Ripley hesitates, citing quarantine protocol. For the safety of the crew, Kane should first be contaminated for 24 hours before being brought on board. Dallas fears for Kane's life and orders her to open the door, but she refuses despite Dallas trying to pull rank. However, Ash disregards Ripley's decision and lets them in.
Yeah, can you imagine if they listened to her and not let him on for 24 hours? The whole movie would have changed.
100%. Yeah, we would have had a movie.
Right.
In the infirmary, Dallas and Ash cut Kane's helmet open. They find that a spider-like creature has attached itself to Kane's face with 8 finger-like legs and a long tail tightly wrapped around his neck. Despite his mouth being blocked, Kane is breathing normally. Parker, Brett, and Lambert observe through a window. Ripley joins them and is angrily slapped by Lambert, furious for not allowing them to re-enter the ship. The men break the women apart. Dallas berates Ripley for disobeying a direct order, but Ripley furiously replies that she was just following the rules of quarantine protocol. Ash attempts to remove the creature from Kane's face with a pair of forceps, but it merely tightens its grip and is holding on so tight that it will tear Kane's skin off with it. Kane is examined with a sophisticated metal scanner, which shows that the creature has inserted a tube into Kane's throat and is feeding him oxygen. Ash deduces that since Kane is comatose and the parasite is feeding him oxygen, removing the creature may kill Kane. However, Dallas is willing to take the risk. Ash tries to cut off one of its legs with a scalpel, but a yellowish fluid pours out of the wound and begins to eat through the floor. Out of concern that the acidic fluid will breach the hull, the crew runs several floors downstairs and find that the stuff's corrosive effect is neutralized after burning through several decks. Dallas says the substance resembles molecular acid, and Brett comments the creature must be using it for blood. Wonderful defense mechanism. You don't dare kill it, growls Parker.
Ooh.
Dallas orders everyone back to their posts as Kane is left in his coma to be tended by Ash. Parker and Brett resume the repairs, commenting that they should never have landed on the planet. As Kane's situation remains unchanged, Ash is collecting data on the creature. He is startled by the sudden presence of Ripley in the infirmary. She wants to know what he has found out yet. Ash can only confirm that the creature's skin is made up of polysaccharides, which it is slowly replacing with silicone to toughen its hide against the new environment it finds itself within. Ripley then confronts him with his decision to let it aboard, ignoring the quarantine law. Ash defends himself by stating that he did it for concern for Kane's life, and that he temporarily forgot the fact that Ripley is the officer in charge when Dallas and Kane are away. Ripley replies that by allowing this breach of protocol, he has put all of their lives at risk, which is not appropriate behavior for a science officer. Ash coldly lets her know that he is perfectly capable to make that decision, and she should stick to her own job. Ripley leaves.
Ooh, man.
In Nostromo's escape shuttle, the Narcissus listening to music, when he is called to the infirmary by Ash because something has happened to Kane. The creature has detached from Kane's face on its own and has disappeared. Dallas, Ripley, and Ash search the infirmary and find it when it suddenly drops from an overhead compartment on Ripley. It appears to be dead, only showing basic reflexes. They take a closer look at it and confirm it is dead. Ripley wants to get rid of it, fearing that it may become even more harmful when dead. Ash strongly disagrees given the uniqueness of the specimen. He wants to take it back to Earth for more tests, as it is harmless now. Dallas shares Ripley's sentiment, but leaves the decision to Ash, to Ripley's amazement. Ripley tries to talk some sense into Dallas, who is unwilling to listen to her arguments, replying that he only runs the ship, and Ash has the final word on all things concerning the company's science division.
Ash is a little piece of shit, isn't he?
Oh, totally. He's like, if you don't know how this goes, you can definitely see where this is going. Ripley asks if Dallas has ever worked with Ash before. Dallas mentioned that he had 5 tours with the same science officer, but this person was suddenly replaced 2 days before the Nostromo left Thetis dock back on Earth. Ripley admits she doesn't trust Ash, but Dallas responds that he doesn't trust anybody. He asks about the status of repairs, which are still underway, but appear completed enough to leave the planetoid. Even though Ripley does not recommend it, Dallas prefers to leave as soon as possible. After a successful takeoff, and despite some minor technical errors, the ship docks with the refinery and cargo in orbit. The Nostromo then resumes its course for Earth. The crew is back in the mess hall, bickering again about what to do with Kane. Dallas decides they will all get back into hypersleep. Lambert has calculated that it will take another 10 months to get back to Earth, which spoils their moods even further. Ash suddenly calls Dallas to the infirmary. Kane has awoken, still groggy, but seemingly unharmed. He remembers very little of the event, apart from a nightmare about smothering, but is starved and wants to eat. The crew decides to have one last meal before they re-enter hypersleep. During the meal, the crew is finally having a good time again, joking and enjoying the food. Kane is eating like he has not had food in ages, sharply observed by Ash. Suddenly, Kane begins to choke. After initially thinking he has swallowed something bad, the mood suddenly changes when Kane starts to groan and convulse violently. While he lies and screaming on the table, the crew tries to help and stabilize him, but a bloodstain suddenly appears on the front of Kane's shirt. The executive officer then violently thrashes about several times despite the crew's effort to help him, and with one horrified scream, he goes silent. A small head about the size of a man's fist bursts through the front of Kane's chest. It silently observes its surroundings. Parker moves in to kill it with a knife, but he is stabbed by Ash. The creature screeches, then uses its tail to propel itself clear of the table and disappear down the hallway, leaving the crew stunned and horrified. Now,
hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal.
hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. No, fun fact about this. Nobody really knew in terms of the crew how the effect was going to work. So when Veronica Cartwright screams because blood got on her, that's because blood legitimately got on Veronica Cartwright and she was not expecting it. That is legit.
Damn.
Yeah. They didn't tell them how much was going to happen. Pretty wild, huh?
Yep.
A quick search through the deck yields no results whatsoever. After a short funeral for Kane, where his body is jettisoned into space, the crew members separate into two teams to capture the small creature. Brett assembles a weapon similar to a cattle prod, while Ash rigs together a tracking device. Parker, Brett, and Ripley investigate one of the lower decks, finding that the power has been disrupted, despite repairs having been finished. Picking up a signal, they think they have the creature cornered in a cabinet. They prepare to catch it in a net, only to be startled by the discovery that it's the crew's cat, Jones, who had found a quiet place inside the cupboard and runs away. Realizing they might pick up the cat on the tracker again later, Parker sends Brett off to catch Jones. As Brett is searching for Jones, he finds a mysterious object resembling a shed reptile skin on the floor. He continues on to a hold housing one of the ship's landing struts, eventually catching up with Jones. Unknown to Brett, a strange creature is hanging in the chains above him, seemingly observing him. As Brett tries to coax Jones out, the cat hisses when a huge shape drops down behind him. It is the creature, now a 6-foot scaly monster with 4 limbs, an elongated head, and rising to its full height behind the engineer. Brett turns around and is mesmerized while looking at the creature opening its mouth, revealing a second set of teeth which quickly extends from the mouth, biting Brett in the head and dragging him, bloodied and screaming, above into the air shaft. Ripley and Parker hear him and arrive just in time to catch a glimpse of the monster as Brett disappears and blood. Parker and Ripley can only confirm the creature is big and escape through the air ducts. Brett is assumed dead, and the crew debates their next move. They all agree that the alien is using the air shafts to move around, so if they could drive it from the ducts into an airlock, they might be able to blow it out into space.
No, I'm going to stop you for 1 second if you don't mind.
No, I
Has there ever been any record how long the little creature takes before it becomes a xenomorph?
You know what? I don't know. I'm going to text my buddy about this, see if he might know.
Because that would be fascinating to me, personally. But this xenomorph
between when Kane's chest bursts open and when Brett dies in Alien. Now, let's hope he sees this while we're recording. If I took it out of airplane mode.
What?
It would help if I took my phone out of airplane mode.
It would, yeah. Yeah, in a minute. Yeah, it would. How terrifying is a xenomorph?
When you see like this, not so much. But when you see it the way it's intended, fucking terrifying.
Is this the most terrifying it looks in the movies, in the first one?
Yeah, I'd say so. Because it's delving into the horror aspect, you're only seeing it in bits and pieces until you actually see the full thing. It's just Really, really
Yeah.
well.
And the exhaust effect.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, look at this guy. Look how big he is. He's huge.
Is that a xenomorph or is that the queen?
This actually might be the queen now that I think about it. I'd have to dig out the box and take a look. Okay. Parker and Ripley can only confirm the creatures. Ripley asks Ash if he can offer some helpful information as a scientist. Ash suggests the alien may be afraid of fire, as most animals are. Fortunately, there are several flamethrowers on board. Ripley volunteers to enter the air shafts, but Dallas overrules her by volunteering himself. Dallas enters the mother console once more. He tries to get the mother computer to evaluate the procedure to get rid of the alien, but mother simply cannot provide an answer due to lack of input. He tries to get mother to offer suggestions, but again, the computer cannot compute due to lack of available data. Finally, Dallas types, "What are my chances?" The computer replies that it cannot compute. The main airlock is prepared by Ripley and Ash for the decompression procedure, while Parker and Lambert position themselves where they can measure movement inside the ducts. The main duct is open, and Dallas enters the network of air shafts with a flamethrower, allowing the crew to remote close valves behind him as he proceeds. Lambert uses a motion tracker to get his location when she suddenly catches another signal going towards him. This right here is basically what the game is like. You have a little tracker in the corner, and it beeps louder and louder and louder if something is coming near you. Oh, it's so creepy when you play it at night. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, my buddy says that playing it with headphones is a trip.
No, I meant.
Assuming it is the alien, Dallas uses the flamethrower to make sure that one of the ducts leading down is safe. He ascends a ladder to the lower deck, but the alien signal is lost in the meanwhile. Lambert instructs Dallas to hold position until she can reacquire the alien signal, which he does. Next to him, he finds a puddle of slime on the floor. Lambert assures him that the alien cannot be far as he uses the flamethrower around him to scare it out of hiding. Nothing is there. Dallas is disoriented in the cramped space and starts to panic, deciding to try again later. Suddenly, Lambert picks up the alien's signal again, moving at higher speed to his location. Lambert desperately urges him to move away. He descends another ladder and turns around, but finds himself facing the screaming creature, stretching his arms toward him. Static and feedback interrupt the line, and then there is only silence. Parker puts Dallas's flamethrower on the table, saying he was just laying in the duct. No blood, no Dallas. Lambert looks as if she is near a nervous breakdown, while Ripley is desperately trying to hide her apprehension. She suggests that in absence of a better idea, they should continue with Dallas's plan. Lambert disagrees vehemently and suggests abandoning the ship with the shuttle. However, the shuttle cannot sustain 4 people. Parker also poses the idea and wants to kill the creature, even if this means entering the entire air duct system again and blowing the alien out of the airlock. He leaves on Ripley's orders to refill the flamethrower. Ripley once again tries to get helpful information from Ash, but he says he's still analyzing. She scoffs at him for being so little help and decides to go and try Mother for answers, since she now has access in light of Dallas's absence. Ripley assesses the Mother console and queries Mother for answers as to why they are unable to neutralize the alien. Mother responds that she cannot clarify. Ripley asks Mother to explain why not. Mother replies that she cannot, referring to Special Order 937, which is only meant to be read by the science officer.
What an asshole.
Right. Ripley uses an emergency command override to force Mother to explain what Special Order 937 is. Mother displays the following shocking text. Nostromo rerouted to new coordinates. Investigate life form. Gather specimen. Priority 1. Ensure return of organism for analysis. All other considerations secondary. Crew expendable. Dun dun dun!
Oh, motherfucker.
As she contemplates the cold, hard words, she suddenly finds Ash sitting next to her, saying that there is an explanation for this. Furiously, she grabs and shouts at him, sobbing uncontrollably. She leaves the console, summoning Parker and Lambert, but she finds that Ash is closing all the doors leaving the mess hall, preventing her from leaving. She demands that he opens the door, but Ash simply stares at her. She notices a drop of white liquid running down his face, and he starts to have facial twitches. Unnerved, she tries to run away, but he suddenly grabs her hair. Ripley breaks free, pulling off a lock of hair, and tries to run. Ash quickly catches up and throws her against a few walls. While she is barely conscious, Ash uses a rolled-up magazine in order to suffocate her. She starts to struggle. That was a weird one. I was like, that's okay.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
She tries to struggle fiercely as Ash starts to twitch and make incoherent noises. Suddenly, Parker and Lambert arrive, both trying to drag Ash away from Ripley. Parker howls in pain as Ash grabs a piece of skin off on his chest, forcing him to let go. Parker quickly grabs a fire extinguisher and hits Ash with it in the back. Ash starts to convulse and shriek violently, making very inhuman sounds while spitting out white liquid. Parker gives him another blow with the extinguisher, dislodging Ash's head, revealing Ash as an android. He keeps pounding Ash until he's on the floor, white liquid gushing from his insides. Ash's movements start to decrease, and Parker settles down. But suddenly, the decapitated body grabs him and forces him onto a table. Lambert finally grabs the electrical prod and screams as she stabs Ash in the back with it, finally rendering the android lifeless. Now, apparently this stunk because literally the white liquid is milk that went sour. From what if I remember correctly. Apparently it stunk. Yeah, and for those of you who've accidentally drunk rotten milk, a few times. With Ash disabled, Ripley theorizes that the company sent him along to bring an alien back for the weapons division, as Ash was always very protective of the creature. They reconnect his disembodied head to see if he can give them any advice on how to deal with the creature. Ash confirms that his order was to bring back the life form, even if it meant sacrificing the crew. Ripley asks how they can kill the creature. He tells them simply, "You can't," as it is the perfect organism. He has a silent admiration for it, a survivor, unclouded by conscience, remorse, and delusions of morality. Ash taunts their chances against the creature, infuriating Parker and causing Ripley to disconnect them again. The three survivors decide to follow Lambert's earlier suggestion, set the Nostromo to self-destruct, and escape in the shuttle, leaving the alien to die on the main ship. As they leave the room, Parker turns the flamethrower on Ash's corpse, incinerating his remains. Ripley, he deserved it. Yeah. Ripley will prepare the shuttle for launch while Parker and Lambert go to gather coolant for the shuttle's life support system. While prepping the shuttle, Ripley hears Jones meowing on the ship's open intercom system and realizes the cat is still left behind. Parker and Lambert are in the hold gathering equipment. They proceed to a small room where the coolant is stored and start to pressurize the coolant bottles. Ripley ventures out alone into the hallways of the Nostromo to find Jones the cat. Expecting the alien at every turn, Ripley finally locates the cat in the cockpit, where he startles her as he suddenly jumps into view. She puts him into his traveling container. In the storage room, Parker and Lambert are so focused on the supplies that neither of them sees a large shadow that has appeared inside the room. It is the alien, and it corners Lambert against the wall where she has been filling coolant bottles. Ripley can hear Parker over the open intercom, shouting to Lambert to get out of the way, but the alien has cornered her against the wall. Parker is unable to get a clear shot at it with the flamethrower without risking harm to Lambert as he is hulking over. Finally, he charges at the creature, but it rapidly spins, whipping the flamethrower out of his hands with his long tail and grabbing him with its large claws. Parker fights against the creature's grip while shouting a warning to Lambert to get out, but she is frozen with fright and does not move. The alien spreads its outer jaws to reveal a piston-like inner throat and penetrating teeth, and as Parker screams a warning, the creature's teeth penetrate Parker's skull, killing him. It's pretty gnarly shit, folks. As Ripley rushes towards their position, she is powerless to prevent the creature from turning back to Lambert. It curls its tail around her, and the final thing that Ripley can hear from the intercom are the sounds of Lambert crying, sobbing, gagging, and screaming, followed by silence. Ripley finds their bloodied and lifeless bodies in the storage room with no sign of the alien. In terrible shock, Ripley dashes towards the emergency room without stopping. Between the sobs, she locates the ship's self-destruct mechanism and quickly completes the entire procedure to activate it. The voice of Mother now announces that the self-destruct mechanism has been activated and the ship will detonate in 10 minutes. However, the self-destruct can still be canceled during the first 5 minutes. Ripley takes a ladder to the lower deck where she hears a soft groan. She inspects the hold and finds a strange organic structure adhering to the walls of the machinery. Shocked, she finds Dallas stuck within the adhesive, barely alive. Which I thought this was in the director's cut. I guess I was wrong. On the opposite wall, she notices a shape which vaguely resembles Brett. He seems to be dissolving, transforming into an object like the egg seen in the derelict ship. Dallas very weakly begs Ripley to kill him. After she's having hesitation, she grants his dying request. She burns them both with a flamethrower and rushes out of the chamber. Ripley crawls up a ladder and runs towards the shuttle with Jones in the container. She barely rests against the wall when she suddenly hears the alien stirring around the corner. Terrified, she drops the cat container and carefully retraces her steps along the wall as the alien slowly comes into view around the corner. Shows interest in Jones. The alien slams the container against the wall. Ripley races back to the self-destruct mechanism and tries to override the procedure. However, she is too late as the mechanism is already starting to activate. She restarts the cooling unit, but Mother announces that it's too late to stop the countdown and the Nostromo will explode in 5 minutes, much to Ripley's frustrated anger. With sirens blaring and steam releasing from the vents, Ripley runs back to the shuttle loading area, ready to make her best attempt to fight off the alien and get into the lifeboat. The alien is nowhere to be seen, only the cat container lying on its side. As fire starts to erupt, she picks up Jones and boards the shuttle with only 1 minute to abandon ship. She quickly runs to the launch sequence, and the shuttle lowers to launch position as Mother starts counting down the last 30 seconds of the Nostromo's life. The shuttle's engines ignite, and the shuttle races away, leaving the Nostromo in the distance. 3 massive explosions follow as the Nostromo's engines detonate, destroying the ship, the refinery, and ore it had been towing, and apparently the alien too. Ripley gives Jones a hug and prepares one of the bio beds for hypersleep, putting Jones in it. As she makes final preparations for the shuttle, a hand suddenly reaches out to her from a wall. She shrieks, and in horror, she sees the alien lying in an alcove. In fact, it had stowed away aboard the shuttle, its external physicality making it blend with the ship's machinery. She flees.
Wow.
Mechanism, right? That is a pretty good cloaking mechanism.
Yep.
Wait. She flees into a locker with spacesuits inside and notices the alien is not following her. It remains lying in the alcove, seemingly unable to do something. Suddenly, Ripley gets an idea and stealthily dons one of the spacesuits. Exiting the locker, she arms herself with a harpoon gun, then straps herself to a chair while singing "You Are My Lucky Star" to calm her nerves. Opening a series of air vents above the alien's head, Ripley tests them one at a time and then finds one that directly blasts high-pressure steam onto the alien, driving it shrieking from its hiding spot. As she is activating several buttons, she does not notice the monster creeping up to her from the side until it is standing next to her to its full, menacing 2-meter height, ready to attack with its inner jaw. Screaming, she opens the shuttle's airlock door. Everything's not secure, including the alien blasts towards the door. However, the alien grabs the edges of the doorway to prevent itself from being sucked outside. Ripley quickly fires her harpoon before the creature is able to haul itself in. It pierces the shrieking alien, which lets go of the doorway and blasts outside, the wire connecting the gun to the harpoon, pulling the gun out of Ripley's hands. However, the door slams shut, jamming the wire under it. Still tethered to the door by the wire, the alien undauntedly attempts to re-enter the shuttle by climbing inside one of the heat thrusters. However, Ripley sees the opportunity and fires the engines, incinerating the alien and sending it drifting into space, where the incredibly tough creature finally succumbs to the differential pressure and blows apart. Before she and Jones enter hypersleep for the journey home, Ripley records a final log entry stating that Kane, Lambert, Parker, Brett, Ash, and Captain Dallas are dead. Cargo and ship are destroyed. She expects to reach the frontier in 6 weeks and to be picked up by the network. She signs off as Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo, and gets to hypersleep. End credits.
And here's a plot twist. Jones, he's a flippin'.
Oh, wouldn't that have been something? That would have been cool. Oh, now that was a synopsis and a half. Holy shit.
Damn, it's one good movie though.
It really is. All right. So now, next week's movie.
Right, let me bring up the whale. And
all right, so on the wheel we have okay, so we have Airplane, Tango and Cash, 1999's The Mummy, Face Off, Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla 1998, Adam Sandler, The Longest Yard, and added today to the list, the original RoboCop, The Birdcage, Big, and Shazam.
Shazam!
Yeah. All right.
What are you hoping for?
What do I want to watch? You know what? I'm probably gonna stick with Tango and Cash or Shazam or the Birdcage are the three I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping for Big Airplane or what's another good one? Face Off.
Okay. All right, spin it, my boy.
I knew it.
Oh, one of the newest additions, RoboCop. Interesting. Okay.
All right. I
All
knew
right.
it. I
So
knew
next
it.
we are delving into the 1980s cult classic, RoboCop. Now this
You
is
know what? You know what year it was made?
87.
Yep.
Yeah, the year we were born. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this because I've actually only seen the movie all the way through once.
I think I have new.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're not going to do any other ones. We're just going to do the original RoboCop special guest at WCW 1990. Yeah. Did you know?
What?
Yeah, RoboCop had a short stint in WCW.
No way. That's awesome.
Hold on, let's see if we can bring it up. RoboCop and wrestling. Come on. Wow, they don't even include it in his freaking Wikipedia.
Well,
because yeah, he was a guest star at one of the WCW events, and it's one of the most ridiculous things ever. Like he just shows up and like rips the door off this flimsy looking cage. What I'll do is I'll try to find a clip and show it to you some other time. But yeah, he did short appearance in WCW in like 1990 or some shit like that.
I always wanted to, I'm like everyone, I always wanted to see RoboCop versus Terminator.
Ooh, that would have been cool. That's what it was. To promote RoboCop 2, RoboCop made a guest appearance at WCW's pay-per-view event Capital Combat, where he rescued Sting from the Four Horsemen. Yeah.
Horseman!
Well, that's where that group got the name.
I had a feeling.
Diamonds are forever. So are the Four Horsemen. All right, Ben. So, any final thoughts on Alien?
And damn good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. How about you, my man?
It really does live up to the reputation and sometimes exceeds it. For a movie that had launched a few many ships in the sci-fi genre, this one still holds up after 40 odd years.
What year?
79.
79. Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Right, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, no, never mind. Okay. I'm plugging. All right. You guys can find me at my Twitter, RainerMan5. Over at my YouTube channel, Wonders of Geekdom. We have shows basically every day. Right here on the Northern Entertainment Group every Tuesday on Rewind the Tape. And every Saturday morning on the Northern Countdown.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on the shows on this channel Ben has mentioned. You can also find me over on the Let's Get Ready Network Friday nights over on the Blokes of Wrestling. So thank you very much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know at the end of the day what you think about Alien. I was like, what movie did we just watch? About Alien.
Alien, man. Alien.
And join us next week as we go into dystopian Detroit, Michigan, and delve into the world of RoboCop. Talk to you later.
Oh my God,
Oh, jeez. Have a good time, folks, and we will see you next week on Rewind the Tape.